up, Slayers? Let's go. Happy Saturday night, y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Slay Station. All right, first off, we got some exciting guests coming on tonight. We're really excited to have on the Fuse crew, and a lot of y'all have heard us talking about Fuse for quite a few months now, and they've been hard at work, really trying to get the business up and going, and finally today's their big day, and we have them on tonight, so we're really grateful for that. We can't wait to celebrate with y'all and the Fuse crew. First and foremost, want to say what's up to all the Slayers out there, right? Tournament season has begun. Everybody's out doing what they love, having a great time, and it's great to see. We'll have some more updates to share. Again, if you are watching, make sure you grant StreamYard permission to see your name so we know who's talking, especially on Facebook. And if you don't grant it, make sure you, type in your name, and so we know who's talking, right? But also, we would appreciate everybody to go like and subscribe to our YouTube page. That would be great. And we're trying to build a following here. And I see a bunch of Slayers in the house. David Steele, Connecticut Horsepower Series director. Jack Tibbins from the Connecticut Renegades. Fishing the Sticks in the house. Stephen Davis, yo, what's good, baby? Davis Custom Rods. So here's what we're gonna do. We got a few directors that are gonna pop on real quick. And don't forget, tonight's episode is brought to you by Outdoorsman Coffee Company. That's right. Caffeinate, motivate, and dominate your day. Go check out our blend, y'all. Slayers Select, and use our code SLAY15 to save 15% percent off your next purchase. Veteran-owned company, right? Outdoorsandcoffee.com, but they have everything. They have dark roast, medium, light roast, French roast, Italian roast, whatever your tickle is. But go check out Slayers Select. Let's represent. Let's go, babies. So let's bring on Jacob Stem. We got a Pennsylvania director in the house. We got AJ
What's going
Gagliardi.
on?
What's up, buddy? Oh, Slay Ray hopped on. Here we go.
Hey.
Finally, dude. What's up, my babies? How we doing?
Doing great, man.
We're
Yeah.
good.
What up? Ray, how's Florida, dude?
Dude, it was good. We got out on the kayaks today. My back was a little sore, but we hooked on to some keeper flounders and have them ready to cook up.
You missed out on the snow up home here. You probably got like 4 inches at your house.
I got 8. They said 8.
You got 8 inches up there? No way.
6 to 8 is what they said, because they got 4 inches the other day and like 5 inches today.
Dang.
Oh my God.
You guys can have that stuff, man.
I know, for real. We're so sick
What's
of
up,
it.
AJ? How you doing, man?
Yes,
man.
AJ's in the house. AJ's about to crack off soon, actually. Well, what, 2 weeks? 2 weeks?
Yeah, I'm gonna head out to Arizona for KPF, and then when I get back, we got our first for the Slay Nation Nevada event going on. So I'm pretty excited, man.
I think I'm 3 weeks out. I'm 3 weeks out. First weekend in April. So
dude, it's too much. Yeah. There's too much. I got to get Pennsylvania. I got to get Jersey. I got New York done, and here I am in Florida. Like
this guy down in Florida trying to catch a tan.
You need help? Let me know. I'll come up.
And show him how to use the heat press, right?
Yeah.
Help you out there. But listen, thanks for hopping on. We have a really exciting show tonight. I'm really excited to have the Fuse crew talk about their debut. How the day was for them. I think we could relate that starting a new business and that launch, all the hard work, the anxiety, the excitement. And they're in that beginning, that honeymoon phase, and we're happy to be a part of it and help them any way we can. But before we get the Fuse crew on, Jacob, you went down to the Bassmaster Classic, man. How was that, bro?
Sir. Dude, that was absolutely amazing. My first Classic. The amount of people I met was crazy. If you guys don't know, Rabid Baits, right there in Vermont, right on Lake Champlain. I've been working with them for a bit. Actually, I'm taking over their pro staff, so that's pretty cool. But they had a booth set up, and we worked for 3 days and met outrageous amount of people. Johnny Moore stopped by, got to shake his hand, which was awesome. Met a lot of the elite guys. You saw your TikTokers, your YouTubers, and just they had 150,000 people go through. So it was absolutely out of this world awesome. I can't wait for Knoxville, Tennessee next year. We're going to be there again.
Dude, that new bait looks pretty incredible.
I'll get you. I'll hook you up.
Dude, I just got like I got like a $60 or like $70 shipment of those rabbits. I
Did
haven't
you?
used any. Yeah, I haven't used anything
Dude.
yet, man. I got a whole box that's just all full of
We had some
clamshells.
of the Kayak Classic guys come out, and I forget his name, and I wish I remember it, but he's from like Nevada. He fishes kayak tournaments out there. I can't remember his name, but he's been using it out there, and he's like, dude, it's like low key out there because not too many guys are using it out there yet.
Yeah, and they're gonna be up on like the smallies are gonna be up on beds here soon, and I feel like I'm excited to try them. I haven't. They're just been sitting. I haven't been able to use them yet. I've been burning the candle at both ends over here, but
Yeah.
I'll get out fishing here in a minute.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
sweet.
Well, Jacob, we're jealous. We're happy you got to experience, but we're jealous.
Yeah.
But
Come
next year,
year.
Knoxville, Tennessee, we'll have to
Be there.
see what we can do.
Absolutely.
But
Frank, two things
yeah.
you got to do.
What's
First
up?
off, that hat, beautiful, man. Sick.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
yes.
waiting for mine. Mine's coming
Yes.
in.
Yours
We
is in the
still
mail.
have
You
some
should get yours any
available,
day,
right?
actually. Huh?
I think so.
There's still hats available for
Yeah,
those
there's still hats
watching right
available.
now.
The gray, black, and white sold out today. The black and red, I think there might be the red and black, there might be one left. The camos are all sold out. There weren't a lot of those anyway, but those went quick. There's gray, red, and white, which is dope. There's the red, white, and blues, or red, blue, and white. And there's red, black, and white, which are dope. They look like the Chicago Bull colors. So check them out on our website under the apparel page. Get them while they last. Once they sell out,
nice.
I'm gonna buy new ones. Yeah, all Richardson 112s, super nice.
Look at how clear the logo is
like-
on it.
Yeah, it's clean as day.
Yeah,
Jake,
really
did you
clean.
know that you and I picked the same hat?
Yeah, you did.
Dude,
You guys are cute. It was really cute. to
I
see
just
that.
want to be a
he
little
wants
more
to
like
be
you,
like
man.
me.
I do.
Yeah.
I
He
do.
just wants to be like me. He hears
I
what
know.
baits I'm using. He's writing it down all the time.
Not even lying. You ain't even lying.
I know he's not lying. All right. Well, it's time, boys. It's time to invite on the Fuse crew on their business launch, drop, debut, whatever the hell you want to call it. It's exciting. I know I bought some baits today, and I cannot wait to get them in and try them ASAP. So let's get on our Fuse crew. I even got a little applause ready to go. Let's invite Dan, Keith, Troy, and Steve, the Fuse crew. What's up, gents?
Hey.
Woo! What's up, babies?
I don't even
doing,
know.
fellas?
Can you hear this?
How's it going?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. All right, perfect. All right. Well, let's go. Welcome to Slay Station. How we doing?
Doing awesome.
Awesome. Thanks
Nice.
for having us.
Oh,
Exciting.
absolutely, man.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
To be here. Yeah.
Dude, you guys have been rolling out the red carpet for us for what seems like weeks now. It's amazing.
Frankie's the best guy to hype anyone up. Frankie's the hype master.
He is.
I cannot tell you how many people were like, yo, Fuse Fishing, what is it? When are they coming? Oh, there's maybe January. Yo, where's Fuse Fishing? I don't know, maybe February. Where's Fuse Fishing? I'm like, I don't know, soon.
I definitely was one, man. I've been dying to see the baits. Like Frankie's been telling me it's something you've never seen before, and I'm like, oh my God, can you show me something? He's like, I can't. Oh, come on.
So I've had some of their like prototype stuff like for like almost a year, and I didn't show anybody, Steve. So I got some of those goodies. But hey, we're really excited to have you all on here now. A lot of people watching don't even know who you are, right? You might have some friends or family that might have be tuning in, but other than that, the rest of Slay Nation and all of our partners and supporters are like, yo, who are these guys? So let's do a little around the horn. Why don't you introduce yourselves? Talk about your part of the company, like what you do, and what state you're from. And we'll start off with that because I want to get into a bunch of stories that I think are going to be really cool and intriguing to hear. And we'll talk about the baits and we'll just have some natural conversation. So not sure who wants to take it away. Steve, why don't you, we'll start down by you and just go clockwise from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Steve Santos. At Fuse here, I handle the sales and marketing aspect of it. So you may see a lot of me online, Instagram, with all the corny stuff that I may poke around there every once in a while. But if you guys are from Connecticut, I'm out in Milford, which is pretty close to New York City. So we're about like 45 minutes or so, an hour maybe outside of New York City.
And
All right, and I'll pass that off to Keith.
Hey, so Keith Tremarky with Fuse Fishing here. I am in Woodbury, Connecticut. So it's pretty much about as country as you can get in Connecticut. From that perspective,
Keith, there's people like in North Carolina, South Carolina, like, what does this guy say? Country. He said country.
yeah,
He's not kidding. They don't even have garbage pickup where he's at, dude.
No, they don't. So I head up, most of the operations for Fuse, and I am also the lead designer. So the baits that you all are seeing, we're done with my pencil.
Awesome. Yeah, we're going to talk about that later. I want to get into some CAD stuff and all that because I like hearing about it. I know Ray does, and I'm sure Jacob and AJ too. All right, so let's take it to the middleman there, Dan.
Hey everyone, Dan Welby. I work in marketing, I guess in sales too. We kind of like a jack of all things, really. But originally from Boston, Massachusetts, but now in Milford, Connecticut. So when I get kind of animated and excited, you might hear some of the Boston slang come out.
Yes.
But as I mentioned, in Milford, Connecticut, and I just want to say I can't thank you guys enough for all the the work you put into getting us on here tonight and getting exposure to the marketplace, and it's just going to be a great partnership. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. All right, Troy, down to you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Troy Pierce from Wausau, Michigan. Happy to be part of the Fuse team here. Being that I'm a little bit distant from our actual production area, I help out in any way I possibly can. So,
okay.
I kind of consider myself on the operations side of things, but I am just here to support at any level or in any way that I possibly can, whatever we need done. If I'm asked to do it, I take care of it. So
absolutely.
Again, happy to be here. Happy to, be teamed up with Slay Nation, and looking forward to a journey together. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. We're really looking forward to this partnership. Real quick, anybody watching, if you have any questions for the Fuse crew, feel free to comment below, and we'll get to it. I'll make sure that AJ, Ray, and Jacob help me look at those, because in case I miss something right that you think is important, we'll highlight it and we'll get that answered. But so today was, first off, I got an unopened brew that I saved just for y'all as my last one. So I'm going to crack it and congratulate. I don't know if anybody else has water, lemonade, or whatever you have. We'll do a quick little salute.
Cheers.
And cheers. And we wish you all,
cheers.
Health, wealth, and success, and everything else that comes with it. And of course, lots of fish catches.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got to say, Connecticut, dude, that's like the Northeast mecca for bass fishing anymore. Like, you guys in Connecticut got everything going. Like,
we do.
It's insane.
People better
I'm moving
recognize.
up there.
This is where the CTs, where the hustlers dwell. But yeah, so let's talk about the company. Today was a huge day for y'all. Is anybody nervous or have anxiety, or were you like looking at like social media and like, the website and sales, like, oh my God, what's going to happen?
Dude, today
100%.
was 100%, right? I mean, stomach, jitterbugs, the whole 9 yards. I think at one point I thought I was going to like hurl early morning. I mean, we're like testing everything last night, right? It's 2 a.m, final test on the website, doing all the practice stuff, reading stuff, checking inventory all over again. Like, I mean, it's like 4 minutes up. And then we're getting phone calls. There's this crazy guy. He's on Instagram right now or Facebook, whatever it was, talking about you guys. He's in a car with his kid in the back. It's Frankie Provolone. It's like, holy cow, it's like, I was like, I know that guy.
Oh my God. Yeah, we went to Michael's, had to get arts and crafts stuff. They were eating McDonald's.
But yeah, just so many emotions. And, the guys will talk about it too. This is like 2 years in the making, right? And you work so hard, and we're so humbled to have the ability to start a business, and especially in today's climate, right, out there.
Yeah.
And, I think to have special people like you guys and Slay Nation and the Renegades and so forth to be partnered with us and help us along the way. But man, so many things you don't see on the inside, that, all the ups and downs. And then when you hit today, like that culmination, it's like beautiful, man. Like you actually sit there, you kind of, just kind of have a tear. You're just kind of happy.
Yeah,
you know, I think,
absolutely.
you know, I'll let the other guys talk too, but yeah, just so awesome, man. It was such a great day
Oh, it was
today.
like excitement and relief and everything. I mean, there was like just probably a dozen emotions all rolled up into one ball, you know, just.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
like you're unveiling something, a product, right? A whole, you know, everything's the product, right? All the hard work, all the designs, everything, and you're debuting, you're showcasing it to the world, and right, and so you're subject to everybody's opinions, right? Whatever it might be, good, bad.
Mm-hmm.
So and you never know, right? You never know which way it's going to go, but at the same time, you're like, you know what? Screw it. We're all in. We've worked way too hard to turn around now, and you know, it's time to make it happen. And that's a great feeling. Like once that, you know, like when you're probably like, you know, guys, website is live, right? It's like that Facebook movie, The Social Network. Remember, like back in the day, they had The Social Network, and when he's like, the website is live, they hit Facebook, and he's like, all right, it's live, and the guy that plays Mark Zuckerberg is like falling asleep, sitting in his chair. It's like all the hard work and everything. It's like, here it is. You know, and so freaking awesome. Like, I'm so excited. We're all so excited for y'all.
It's funny.
You know,
it's funny, Frank. We were all on the phone when you know, Steve proverbially hit the switch, and you know, he hit it, and you know, we were like, woo. And then I think it was just like, we're all so exhausted. It's like, okay, now let's just, you know, and I just want to touch, you know, Steve made the perfect point before, right? Like 2 years in the making. And it's funny because I can honestly sit here today and say 2 years ago, we were like 6 months, guys, we'll be live. 6 months, we'll be live 2 years ago. Right.
Yeah,
So,
crazy.
you know, and, you know, you hit your bumps along the way. And then the next thing you know, you're like, you know, when, you know, you guys were saying before, you know, when is Fuse coming? When is Fuse coming? We were sitting around the table saying the same thing. When are we coming? When are we coming? You know, like, when is it happening? You know, but, you know, all of that just, I think, you know, goes in, it makes it more exciting when it finally happens. So
absolutely.
Today was a big win.
Absolutely. Yeah. The site looks good. I know you Steve was saying it's just like, right. It's just like the basic site right now, right? You're going to be adding more to it and whatever else. It looks great. It does the purpose. I know that all the pictures, getting pictures of baits could be tedious, and but I think
I can attest to that.
Yeah, I think yeah, he was telling me all about that. But they look great, man. They look really good. I know you made a few modifications from the original ones. You know, some stuff got modified, and so, you know, before we get into that, I would love to talk to the team about how you came up with the name Fuse Fishing. Like, you know, were there other names in the book that you were throwing around? How did you settle on Fuse?
Dan?
I mean, Dan, we'll let you go to that, brother.
You want to chime in, Dan?
Yeah, I'll try to go. This internet connection really blows, but I just dropped off. Apologize. But yeah, you know, we were kicking around a lot of names, a lot of them. What was it? I think I forget the one we were really close to, but I was kind of going through things. I'm thinking, okay, what are the type of names out there that kind of brings, you know, together? Like, we always talk about bringing family and friends together. Fishing does that, right? Family and friends together. How do you bring them together? Spend more time with them, quality time. And so I started looking up, you know, some words on the internet, just like, you know, community bringing things together. And Fuse jumped out. I'm like, wait, that's an interesting one. So you're fusing everything together, and I bounced it off these guys, and they're like, that's it. They loved it.
Okay. I like that. That makes total sense. And, you know, I'm going to be quite honest with you. That was not the meaning that ever came to my head, you know, but it makes no, it really doesn't, but it makes complete sense now. When you fuse something, you bring it together. I freaking love it. I like that a lot. So Fuse Fishing, here it is, right? You got your logo, everything's good. But, you know, the backstory behind all of this, it wasn't like one day y'all just said, hey, let's start a soft plastic company, right? There's a little story behind all of it, and I guess it kind of starts with Maine. Is that right? Well, does Maine play a special part in this whole you know, new adventure?
Yeah, Keith, you want to jump on that, brother?
Yeah, I could take that one. Yeah, so I don't know, circa like 2007, 2008, somewhere around there, we started heading up to the Belgrade Lakes region up in Maine, and you know, we spent a lot of time fishing that year. And then the next thing you know, we said, you know, that was great. We should do that we should do that next year again, right? Like the smallmouth fishing was great. You know, the area is just really nice and chill. And then the next thing you know, it's like year 5 and we're still going. And then it's like year 10 and we're like still going. And, you know, that's kind of where it was. It did kind of evolve into a very set group of people that went. It was, you know, primarily us guys. There's a couple others that are, you know, close friends. And, you know, my father had made the trip with us for years. But, you know, at the core, it was us guys. And you know, the one thing that we left that trip every year saying is like, don't you just wish we could do this more? Like what could we possibly do to try to get to doing this more, right? Like what's that step to like get to this next phase where, you know, we feel closer to being involved with what we do on that trip and everything. And that's kind of like where it really came from.
Okay. I love it. Yeah. So it's all connected to fishing, right? And that's the greatest thing. Fishing fuses us all together. Look at that. You know,
Nice.
But it's
You're
just
going to
so
use
true.
it all the time now.
I am, and I like it. But like, that's why all of us are on the same screen right now. You know, it's because of fishing. It's because of a brown or green slimy fish. But one thing I forgot to make note of earlier in the show is anybody listening, Fuse did a contest. They did a contest. They're going to be naming a winner, and we'll say we'll do it in like another at the 35 marker, right? We're at 23 minutes in. Does that sound good? And then
I'll
we're
remind you, Frankie.
Fuse will do the live drawing right here. They got the pinwheel ready with all the entries, like I think 70 plus entries, and they're going to announce the winner, and we'll do that a little bit. But yeah, so I love it. So it all started with the boys going up fishing trip and being together, and then it was like, hey, let's what could we do with this, right? What could we do with this? And next thing you know, you're starting a company, and 2 years later, however, here it is. I freaking love it. Now, you know, the soft plastic game, right? That's a very competitive market, right? Obviously. But the one thing, when I met with y'all, right? I met with Steve and Dan, last summer? I think it was last summer. We went to lunch, right? And I'll be honest, I was like, all right, I don't know what to expect with baits. And I remember Dan took out that bait, and we're in friggin', where the hell were we? What was the name of that place again?
Some burger place.
Was that Flipside?
Flipside, yeah. We're at Flipside in Milford, Connecticut. Yeah. Like, ain't nobody bass fishing right there. And Dan takes the bait out, and he's like looking around this. There's like 3 people in a restaurant. He's like, and I'm like, what's this guy got? He's like, yo, here you go, Frankie. And I'm like, right. And I was like, yo. I said, this is the bait. Now I mean, you guys probably have the baits, but I'm going to just, is it all right if I show the older one or no? Yeah,
absolutely.
I'll just show the one I have.
While you're pulling that out, just real quick, after we left there that day, and Dan pulled that out of his pocket or whatever. He's like, "Do you think it was okay that we shared that? Like, like it was so like top secret." It's like,
you're like, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, don't play.
We're not around Candlewood Lake here. So all right, the tail's sticking. I had
if I get that thing caught in a tree branch, I have to swim in the water and get it. Keith's like, don't let anyone get a hold of it.
Oh, absolutely. So you know, it's hard to do it justice on the.
Which bait is that called?
This is the Surge.
That's a Surge.
But it used to be called the Leech.
Joshua in the comments said, tell us about the Surge. What's the best way to rig it? So I would imagine that's a drop shot style bait.
This is a 6-incher.
You know what?
Okay.
I'll let the team talk about it. But one thing I want you all to notice. So I want to continue the story. Now this is before they did any other modifications. It has the diamond cuts in there. I was like, yo, this is gonna. Right off the bat, I told you guys, I was like, this is going to be your bait. This is going to be one of the baits. And the point I'm trying to get to, there's so many soft plastic companies, right? Which is great, right? We partner with a whole bunch of great companies. But one thing about y'all and some of the other companies we partner with, these are original designs. These aren't already, molds that anybody can go buy, right? On a website. Nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is these are original baits made by y'all. And I love that stuff. I absolutely love it. And once I saw this bait, I said, Jesus, that's the one. That bait right there is people are gonna eyeball this thing, and they're going to say, I need to get it. I need to get it. And there's, there are plenty of ways to rig this, but I'm going to let you guys talk about your surge.
Yeah, I don't know where you want to start. If you want to talk about how we fish it, or you want to
talk about
the
the design.
design?
Yeah, like I want you to talk about this design because it's a unique design. So when obviously you're not you could think of any style bait really, right? But like, what made you say, all right, we want like a cylindrical, flat-sided kind of bait? What kind of applications would this be used for? Like, what's like the process?
So
that you go through.
Yeah, so Frank, like originally where the whole idea for that bait came from was it was actually up in Maine. I was using a soft jerk bait through lily pads, and I'm watching it work between the lily pads, because at that point there was a lot of fish sitting in there, and I just wanted something that worked a little different. The jerk bait was doing the trick, right? I think we could all agree, like sometimes a soft jerk bait is just killer, but I just wanted something that just was moving through the water a little different. Like what I was noticing with the erratic motion of a jerk bait is that it was getting hung up a lot in the pads that I was trying to get around. I wanted something that kind of like ribboned through a little differently, right? Like I wanted it to be able to use in that same application as the soft jerk bait, but I wanted it to be able to work a little different. So my brain just started working, and then, I just started getting, the initial thought that came up is like a leech. How does a leech move in the water? And if you ever watch a leech, it does this little ribbony thing, right? I mean, they're pretty gross, but it's pretty magical, like what their body's actually able to do in the water. So that was the initial thought about it, was just like, okay, you could kind of, maybe with like a mag offset hook rigged up like a soft jerk bait, but I'm going to use this a little differently. I want it to glide a little bit. So that was my main intention. I'm going to hand it over to looks like Dan dropped.
No, he's coming back in. He's playing hide and seek with us tonight.
Yeah, what's he doing? I thought I need to phone a friend. So what happened was that was the initial intention, and then I Texas rigged it a bit, worked it that way, and then I'll hand it over to Dan, because Dan all of a sudden started fishing it a completely different way than my intention was. Dan, you want to talk about how you fished the surge?
Yeah, I'll try to do it before my internet blows out on me again. I don't know what's going on, but apologize for that. I was fishing in multiple different ways. I was drop shotting a couple times, and then I started to I threw it out there a couple times, nothing on it, just with a size 4 hook on it, and I started working the top water. And with that flat bottom, I could actually walk the dog with it, and it was amazing. And I'm telling you, it was getting explosion after explosion in August at a local pond. And that's when I was like, oh my goodness, like working this thing on top, it was just beautiful. So that was the way I was catching a ton of fish in August, working the top water.
And Dan, not to cut you off, but you're texting us pictures.
Yeah.
I'm watching these little not pictures, little videos. And I'm watching these like, watch this, watch this, watch this. And you're watching the fish like nail it. And it's like, what are you doing with the bait?
Yeah. And
it was crazy. It's crazy.
It was, and so that was the way I was fishing it more than any other way. And my daughter, who is my fishing partner, she was using all the other baits. She likes the reg the most, but she started, using the surge on top, and that's why we called it a surge, because the surge of the water behind it was just coming up behind it and just blowing it up. So, that was my go-to bait pretty much all the summer. And I was blessed to testing a lot of baits too. But that one's quite exciting.
Can I jump in real quick? So is it a pretty, does the plastic, is it pretty buoyant, or is it like, would you compare the buoyancy? Because you're saying you're running on the top, so I'd imagine you're either burning it against across the top, or is it carrying some buoyancy?
Yeah. It's and so it's just quick jerks, and it's literally with that flat bottom. It's just it's literally walking across and leaving a stream behind it.
Gotcha.
And it's flat. It's completely flat. And so then you could drop it down, right? And then I just bring it back up, drop it down, bring it back up. So it's within a couple inches of the top of the water. And when I get it on top, I just pull it across pretty quickly, and it just scoots. It's
So
just
it's not completely floating. It's just slow sink style.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It
Would
is,
you,
yeah.
and
So
so Josiah, he's asking if that's Texas rig. Are you Texas rigging that, or just like weightless, or how are you getting that hook set or that what hook are you running to do that?
I'm just using a four-aught hook on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm imagining, because I
Yeah.
fish a lot of flukes and I surface fish them, right, on spinning gear. And so there's two ways I do it. And I know exactly what Dan's talking about. You need to twitch fast, right?
Yes.
You can't twitch slow because it's going to sink, right?
Yep.
So yes, you Texas rig it. Think about like a rage toad. You're going to Texas rig a rage toad, and that is made to set on top, and you just reel it fast, right?
Yeah.
So with a fluke style bait, which this, if you could tell, it's extremely thin. I'm trying to do it justice on here. It's really thin. It's all flat. Like that shiny part is all flat. And you can do two ways. One, you can nose hook it with a drop shot hook, right? Use a 4-aught drop shot hook, a circle hook, and you just nose hook it, spinning gear. I top water fish flukes and get the smallmouths to blow up on them, even over weeds, little submerged weeds. Same thing with this bait. Quick, swings with the stick or with the rod. We'll keep it on the surface, right? Walk it. Obviously, yes. If you slow it down, it's going to start sinking. But that's what Dan's talking about. So you can Texas rig it with a 4-aught EWG or whatever. 4-aught is perfect for this bait. This one, I mean, I'm assuming this is the same length as the ones, the 6-inch. 3. I mean, you can even go 3 with this, 3 or 4.
Yeah, probably 3-aught too.
I use 3-aught when I rig it.
Because there's a big chunk. So right here where my pointer is, this is all solid before it gets to the diamonds cut.
Now, I'd imagine too, if you're throwing it on the surface with the holes in the bait, would that throw off any bubbles if you're on the surface?
Exactly. It displaces water. So, I mean, they look cool, right? Or I think they look cool. I'm going to be biased, obviously. But the intention of those is water displacement. So, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
I think a donkey rig, AJ, I think donkey rigging that, like fluke style.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Get two of them just going.
I can't wait to test them out, man.
I'm kind of looking at it when Frankie's putting it up, and have you guys ran that thing as like a real subtle like trailer even? Like how's that presentation?
Now we're
talking. What I mean? Like, because like sometimes a boot tail, it's a little bit much for these guys out here on the West Coast. Like it just kind of fish a little skittish out here.
You just hook it up on the side on like the chatterbait, and then those holes are just that's 100% a good idea.
Absolutely.
This is so awesome right now. We talk about this all the time, right? How we fish it, and you guys are asking us how we fish it. I mean, we love hearing ideas about how y'all will fish this. I think that's the biggest thing that we look at on that. So it's awesome to hear that.
Yeah. So this is a great bait.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like I never like when somebody like buckets a bait into like one specific thing, right? Like it's up to everybody's imagination as to like what you could do with it. And I think, the basis for the majority of these baits is like, we can make recommendations as to how we fish them, but like what's more exciting to us is what ideas you all come up with, right? Because I think that's where the magic really happens, right? I'm not going to think like one of you. You probably won't think like me, but together you could come up with a lot of different ways to use something.
Yeah, I like what AJ said on that chatterbait too, because the more I look at it with that flat bottom, that's going to rise that chatterbait up too. So it's going to be a lot easier to fish it slower and keep it higher up in the water column, like above a grass line or something like that.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Absolutely. So really unique bait, so many different ways. And I'm sure you're going to, after people start getting these things in their hands, you're going to start getting, a plethora of different techniques. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be really cool to see. I already have one in mind that's going to involve putting line through these diamond cuts. And then I'm not even going to tell you right now because I want to try it first, but it's like an upside down chicken rig. Nice. So we had a question from James Johnstone. Can you orient the bait sideways and fish it more like a swim bait? Ooh, you could. Why not?
I feel like you could. That's what I was saying on the chatterbait. I think you could 100% do it like that.
Absolutely. Like awesome. So in our visual here, let's drop down. Let's drop down underneath the surge and get to that friggin' another awesome looking bait, the lightning bug. Let's hop into the lightning bug for a second here. Talk about that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. I was like, obviously, we talked about the Surge. Do you guys have your own favorite one that you throw?
Yeah, I'll tell you this
Well,
much. We'll talk.
I do.
Yeah, I think we all do. I mean, the bug is definitely my favorite, but I'll let Keith talk about the actual design of that before going into it.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's start with the lightning bug, right? So essentially, a lot of different bugs on the market, right? Where there was a couple things where I wanted to be a little different. The idea for those, the lightning bug, right? It's kind of clever. Those pincers is actually, there's a story behind it. It might be on the website. I'm not sure. My grandfather had this patch. He was, he served in World War II, 78th Division, Infantry Division, which was known as the Lightning Division. So I was downstairs and I was drawing some baits up, and I had one of his patches in a frame on the shelf, and I looked up at it, and it's just one of those moments when something clicks, and you're like, wow, that lightning bolt can actually be pincers. Like if it's drawn correctly and you orient it on the bait properly, you could actually get pincers out of it, right? And then so I started messing around with it. So the rings on it actually follow the lightning bolt pattern as well, and then you have the pincers on it that are lightning bolts, and then they actually have an embossed lightning bolt even within the lightning bolt, so filled with lightning bolts, and that was pretty much the whole idea around it, where it came from. And then it was just more along the lines of the body width that I was looking for. I was looking for where I like this lightning bug is the formula we use, the blend of plastic I use to make it. It's how, I like my baits. I hope everybody else likes them that way as well. So that's kind of where the design for it came from. I'll let Steve talk about fishing it, because he became quite the evangelist around the lightning bug.
Hey, Keith, real quick, I just want to, as a former infantry Marine, I'm sold. Anything with an infantry inspired or military inspired, dude, you just sold. All right, I'm putting them in the cart right now. That was easy enough, right?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for your service.
So cool, man. That's a really cool backstory. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. That's a cool little backstory. And same thing with the name, right? So far there's everything about Fuse has been super unique. It's pretty awesome. I'm interested to hear about the rest of the stuff.
Great.
Absolutely. All right, Steve, talk about how you rigged that lightning bug, dog.
Yeah, man. So I mean, AJ, that's so awesome to hear that, man. That means genuinely, that means a lot to us when you say something like that. And of course, to just acknowledge what Keith just said too. Appreciate what you do for us, man. So in your support in our country and all that stuff. So thank you. Yeah, dude, let me tell you. So fishing this bug, by far my favorite bait, hands down, so cool. We're up in Maine last year. We're doing our R&D. We're out there researching, right? And we didn't have a million of each color of these baits, right? We've got a bunch of colors, a lot more than we have 10 on the website right now. I don't want to give a lot out, but there'll be more coming. So we got a lot of test colors that we were figuring out what we want to do for launch day a year ago. And I'm tossing this thing out there in Bamacraw, and we didn't have a ton of them, right? So I don't even remember how many we had, but I was using these things down to we're testing the durability of the plastic. We're playing a fine line. We want to get things soft. Everybody likes a soft bait, right? But they also like baits that they don't want to lose a bait on the first or second cast. They want them to last a little bit. So it's kind of getting them, where can we get that fine line of building a bait that's going to be durable, but yet it's going to have a lot of flexibility to create some action. And we're testing these out there. I'm throwing them. I'm literally, I just got them rigged with a weight on there. I think I was using, like an 1/8 ounce, and maybe in some applications like a 1/4 ounce to get down there right on the beds. And we were on Long Pond in the Belgrade Lakes, tons of rocks, man. It is all rocks out there. I think I lost probably about $200 worth of tackle in between there. Maybe on the first day. I quit drop shotting after the first day. I was like, I'm done. Losing all my weights. But yeah, so I'm tossing this bug out there. And I mean, Troy and I were on the boat together, and I mean, just Bammacroft, just one after another. I was losing one pincher. They were hitting it hard. It was eating a pincher on there. I'm throwing it back on the water with one pincher. Another one's coming back. I actually was tossing it with no pinchers on there at one point. I wanted to see what I would get. I wasn't catching anything at that point. But yeah, just an amazing bait, just walking it really slow backwards on the rocks, on the beds. And they were just, the smallies out there were just crushing them. So just a really fun bait to walk down. And, that did a lot for us too, right? We talked about R&D. And I think we had a question on Instagram about a week ago about the durability of this bait. It's a super soft bait. But kudos to Keith and the way he designed that pincher, going back to the lab, redesigning it with those pinchers just a little bit thicker around the body there, just to create some durability. And I think like any other bug, you're going to lose pinchers, right? It's certainly going to happen, but it does really well, holds up really well out there, and it's a fun bait to fish, and there's a ton of action on the way down. And Keith, maybe you could talk about that too, that added weight that you put on there, and how the pinchers kind of float up and so forth, create some action on the way down. I feel we've had some just get pounded on the way down as it's going down on there. The action that it creates, super cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of. I'll touch on it. It's hard to see it from like how Frank's holding it up, but the way that we kind of cut the pincer where it joins the head of the bait, right? So the first thing I did was make it a little wider there to create some more mass to try to hold those pincers on from getting ripped off too quick, right? So it was kind of the way that, we designed it to connect to the head. But then what we also did was we made sure that area was thicker and then eventually tapered down to the thickness that I wanted, just to try to get enough mass. And then, ironically, it's funny. I think this happens in real life all over the place, right? You're trying to solve one problem, but then you find some other positive from it. So where we found that we were able to keep those pincers on better, we also found by adding the mass back there, we created more movement with the front of the pincers because there's such a difference in the thickness of plastic. So where Steve's saying the drop, right? Those pincers want to go nuts because they're thick where they're connected, but then they get so thin as they taper down. So
Frankie,
that's a more like.
Sorry, go ahead, Jake.
No, go ahead, Ray.
I was just saying, Frankie should have a tank and be showing us these baits in the water. Man. Come on, guy.
Hold on.
It's funny you mentioned that because on Large End and Pickup Day, we found a fish tank on someone's thing. Was half back. I'm like, you know what? Let's just use this to see how the action is, and we were using that for a while.
For
nice.
I am.
What I wanted to
say
was the kickers. Now, is that more like you said? Is that a more subtle action, or is it pretty violent kicking on that bait?
I think honestly, it's going to be dependent on how you weight it to get down there. So I found that the heavier the weight that you're using to rig it up. So say you're going with up in Maine, you're only fishing probably 12 feet most of the time, in the Long Pond region. So if you go 1/4 ounce, which is pretty heavy for 12, in my opinion, pretty heavy for 12 foot, you'll notice they want to kick hard.
Okay.
And then when you go to when you drop to 1/8 ounce and the fall is just that little bit slower, they do slow down.
So I like that. Like if you're punching it through grass mats, it's going to kick a lot. But I could see it on a swing head or a jig trailer where it's more going to be a little more subtle. But then you go to swim jig trailer, then you're going to get the kick. So I like that. You can kind of do both.
Yeah.
It's a great little bait. And I'll be honest, I've never fished a bug up in Maine on Long Pond. Never fished a bug up there. So that was my first year in a decade plus of fishing a bug on that lake. On there, I told Keith, I came back, Troy and I, we were pounding smallies one after another. I was like, Keith, here's what you got to work on. Fix this one little thing, and this thing's done. Best bait ever.
Nice.
Absolutely loved it.
Just looking at the lightning bug. this is definitely going to be definitely an extremely versatile bait, right? I mean, trailer it, whatever you want to do. You can pretty much do whatever you want with this thing. You can even Nico rig it if you wanted to. I love it.
How many inches is that?
I don't know.
3.5.
3.5.
Yeah, 3.5.
Yeah, the body. Yeah. Yep.
3.5. I love it. So, all right. So we discussed the surge. Oh, it is that time, Fish Crew.
Oh, I
it's
forgot.
time to announce. Yeah, thanks a lot, Jacob Stem.
forgot.
Yeah, one
Didn't
job. Let
really
me know.
extravaganza.
Geez, that's why I invite other co-hosts on, because I know I'm gonna forget. It's time to announce your contest winner. So,
Yeah.
what do you want to do? What do you got to do?
Woo! Can I share my screen?
I don't know. Can you?
Is that- let me try.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
on the
think
bottom, if he hits share,
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
If who hits
Look
share?
at that.
if
I
Steve
think it'll be
hits
Tim.
share,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I think.
Frankie would allow it and it would work.
Yeah,
All right, ready? Here it
Frankie.
comes.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Can you guys see
Oh,
that?
man. Look
There
at that.
she is.
Yeah, awesome for everybody to kind of see over here. So we have, so we did about a week ago or so. We did a little promotion around the surge. It's a new design. We did a promo giveaway on Instagram for a $50 Fuse gift card. There were some rules behind it. You had to follow us. You had to like the actual post, and you had to share a couple people. Tag a couple people on there that gave you an entry, and then each additional entry that you provided each additional tag that you provided gave another entry. So in total, we have 70 entries here, which was really awesome to kind of see.
Hell yeah.
The activity
Great
from the
job.
group. So awesome. We're so appreciative and supportive. So we're gonna spin the wheel, man. It's right here. It's gonna be for everybody to see. Once we're done with the call here, we'll send out a DM to the individual who wins, and we'll shoot over a gift card for $50 to be used at fishfuse.com, and you can use it right away. So have a ball, and let's go ahead. You want a little countdown here, Frankie, before I hit the button, or
yeah, let's do a 3
hype it
second
up,
countdown.
Frankie.
I got game show music ready to go. So here we go, folks. This is the first official contest raffle giveaway, whatever the hell you want to call it, for Fuse Fishing. So if you're here, you get to witness it. All right, Steve, let's do it. 3, 2, 1.
Spin that wheel.
boom.
Who's it gonna be? Oh.
Who is it? Gary Jr.
Gary
That's
Jr.
dude.
Nice.
That's Gary.
Congrats. Is he on the call right now?
He's
That's awesome.
I haven't seen him, but that's Gary. He co-directs our New Jersey trail.
Nice.
Just had a baby,
Awesome.
just had a baby boy.
Oh, congrats.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Congrats.
All right, Gary Rachich. Gary Rachich, congratulations. And now don't let your sister, who's also his fishing partner, steal this on you. All right, Gary? If you're listening.
So Gary, we'll after the show's over, we'll send you a DM with that code, and yeah, man, you're the winner of a $50 Fuse gift card, man. Congrats
Nice
again.
job.
Awesome.
Congrats,
Congrats on
Gary,
the
man.
baby.
Great job, Gary, dude.
Good job.
And listen, not for nothing. What a great winner, because he's just a great guy. I will say this,
Fantastic.
and anybody watching will get this joke. If I saw G Rock come up on that raffle
Dude,
prize,
that's what I was thinking. He tagged me in it.
it's gonna go
G-Rock
nuts.
wins all the giveaways around
So
here.
G Rock is a Connecticut slayer. He's a great guy. Him and Lionetti, they love Slay Nation. Been with us since we started, and they're two older gents. When my dad met G Rock, he said, "Hey, what's up, Sheetrock?" And I said, "Oh my God, I'm never gonna call him G Rock again." But G Rock wins everything. He wins.
He tagged me in
every
this
raffle.
giveaway. He tagged me in so many giveaways. I didn't even
I
realize
know
it was
he.
G-Rock.
I'm not even surprised. He wins everything. Bash University won every friggin' contest. One of their live seminars. He wins everything. So I'm so happy Gary won it.
Sorry, G-Rock, but
Sorry, G. We
We love
you
you.
gotta
buddy.
lose once in a while.
That's right. That's right. Awesome. I love it. Solid game music. Thanks, DJ. That's so Team People Fishing. That's our North Carolina small vessel series director, DJ. Shout out to DJ.
Awesome.
Awesome. I love it. So we got the Surge
Great.
underway. We got the Lightning Bug underway. AJ, Ray, or Jacob, do you have any specific questions before we get into the next bait?
Oh my
So
god.
yeah, I'm kind of I'm interested in like makeup, right? Like, is it like if you were to stretch that thing out, kind of, are you going to start seeing like some salt come out? Like, are you going to kind of, is it a really buoyant plastic? Is it more of a, I see the stick bait. I'm kind of looking at one of the stick baits right now, and it says it's like a slow sinking kind of. So I can only imagine that was going to be a little bit less dense, right? So I'm kind of interested. Obviously, don't give away your guys' recipe, right? But I think actually you guys got a Cody Henley in here, who's everybody knows.
Oh, Cody's in here.
Henley, so
Nice.
no recipes given out, right? Because he makes his plastics too. So, but anyways, like I'm kind of interested in like makeup, right? Like, what could you expect? Like when you lay hands on these things, are they salt filled or are they, what?
So I guess, all right. So let's start with the majority of the baits are not salt filled.
Okay.
Yep. And for specific reasons, everybody has different feelings on like what the recipe should be, and I think that's great. For certain baits, I think if they're rigged properly, you can get the drop you want out of them or whatnot. So I didn't really see that need for salt. As far as like, do fish hang on if a bait has more salt in it? I don't know. Do fish have taste buds? I'm not sure. But I know from a bait perspective, typically I like the way the bait stretches when it doesn't have salt in it. So I try to shy away from salt a bit, but I do feel that there's certain baits that like need it, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, I won't lie that the Current does have some salt in it because I want it to be able to get to that middle column. I don't want it to completely sink on me. So the thing's like going to the bottom every time, but I want it to accelerate to the mid depth quick enough. So we have a specific salt recipe in there where I feel it gets down into that mid depth where I'm not like sitting there like waiting for it to drop, but at the same time, I'm not casting it and worrying about getting snagged on the bottom immediately because it dropped too fast.
And see, I asked that because it's like that you make it when I use a bunch of different like Senkos and stuff like that, right? And like I've keyed in over the last couple of months on the fact that if I use like, let's say a Yamamoto versus one of Cody's, I'm going to get different action. And I'll tell you what, like sometimes that is the difference. Green pumpkin to green pumpkin, black flake. And Cody's will be the one that's getting bit 9
That fall rate is key.
Yeah.
And then I go back and it'll be different, right? So I'll carry like, I know there's a lot of like, like guys will be like, oh, this is the only stick bait or whatever. But it's like, I feel like that's a good little tidbit, like maybe mess around with some of those, like, for guys like me, like when I'm bouncing around between different stick baits and stuff like that, like I keyed in on it. And I think that's kind of interesting.
Well, you got to think too, is everyone's seen a Yamamoto. Everyone and their brother throws that. So they're getting used to that fall rate. So you switch it up to a brand new company that has a different salt pattern or content to where it's a different fall rate. That's going to change the game. And the bass sometimes they're finicky. People think they're dumb fish, but sometimes it takes a little change. Another thing I wanted to ask, is there any scents in any of your baits? Do you guys have any scents in them?
Yeah, the baits are poured with scent. Yep.
Okay, sweet.
They 100% are. They're scented. I if I could just take like one more second to focus on the fall rate and whatnot. You brought up an interesting point before, where the bait being offered right now is our slow fall version. We will have our sinking version. It's 2 different recipes. The sinking version will be coming. The reason we released the slow fall first is when we fish these, oftentimes we fish them really close to like the edge of the water. And what we noticed is with our weighted version, if you're fishing in that like 4-foot range, you cast it out, it drops so fast, you don't even get it to work in the water column. It's just dropping too quick. You're getting hung up, right? Because that's typically where the branches are in the water and stuff. So we were like, you know what? We got to like dial this back a bit, right? Like we can't we can't be getting snagged up as soon as we cast it. Like, we're casting like right up to almost on shore and then trying to work it slowly from there. So that's where you're seeing that slow fall rate, right? And then, you know, we do have a formula for the sinking as well, which will be coming soon. But yeah, I mean, both of you, I think, are hitting on the same thought that's going through my mind, right? Is that fall rate, you know, the baits could be the same. Now, the other thing I do want to touch upon is, I don't know if you all have held our regulator. It is not a round bait.
Right. I was going to. Yep.
So
no one got to
I
even
didn't know
see him
yet.
yet. No, just Frankie.
Yeah, everything's been on
There's a
the
question.
I don't have
That's
that.
why
I don't
we're
have that. I
dying.
don't have that one.
yeah. So in the picture, you could say to yourself, "Oh, that looks like, you know, I'm not going to name another brand, but that looks just like another stick bait, right?" It is not. There's a few differences, right? I don't know if you guys notice. One side is ringed, one side is smooth. It's an oval. It is not a round. It falls different than any of the other stick baits. I have fished in a boat next to somebody using another name brand with this in the same exact color. They could not get a bite, and I could not stop getting bites. It falls different. It has a different action in the water. The other thing that I do want to note too is that egg sac is centered, and it's centered because it really is a wacky focused bait. You can bite a little bit of the end off and Texas rig it, of course, right? But where it really excels is hooking in that center. And the other thing is the bait doesn't taper the same dimensions on both sides. It is offset. So some people say, well, the egg sac is so that it has an erratic movement. We countered it with the design of the bait and still being able to center. The reason why it is centered, and you guys are going to think this is silly, when I take my daughters fishing, do you know how easy it is for me to say, put the hook in the middle of the bait now?
Yeah. The other thing is, you know, I never use a washer. I always think it takes away the action. So I just put the hook dead set in that middle egg sac. And we've gone through a couple, you know, kind of versions of this too. You know, the different types of plastics, the softer, the harder ones. And we finally settled on one that, you know, the action is perfect. And Keith had mentioned, you know, one of the days,
I was going to say, it looks like it's moving a lot.
Yeah. One of the days, sorry, there we go. One of the days we went out and there was 3 of us on the boat, and we, you know, we had 2 other, you know, brands that we were fishing, and we had ours, and we, you know, we circulated. So someone, they would take the next, you know, so someone would take the fuse, our fuse regulator. We just, you know, keep on switching out on them. And the person that had this on caught more fish. And that's when I was like, there's something here. Like I was saying, my daughter, this is her go-to all the time. And every day she's catching, when I go to the pond, she gets 4 or 5 fish. And it just makes it so simple, especially kids. And this is one of the things we want to do. We want kids to get out and fish, right? Yeah. Stop playing electronics. Put this on a hook and just twitch it. That's all you got to do. That's how simple it is.
It's my go-to bait too. That's why I like to Nico rig it. I've done my best with the Nico. Again, you know, I might.
Oval is definitely awesome looking in that.
Yeah, Troy, talk about some of your experience with it too. You had a pretty exciting moment at the end of the season with that bait, I think.
Yeah, last year, my fishing style, especially when we're out in Maine, we get a little competitive, and we're all, you know, who's got the biggest fish and who's got the most fish and all this. But when I'm here at home, you know, after a long week of work or whatever, I like to go sit in the boat, get the trolling motor on, sit in my seat, and just kind of like sit back and relax and take it easy. So I like to do a lot of drop shotting. You know, anything where I can just have a nice kind of easy retrieve, relax while I'm doing it. But yeah, so, you know, I used the reg a lot with the Nico, and towards the end of last summer, I had my personal best. It was almost a 4.6 smallie. So, you know, for a lot of guys, you know, that are out all the time, you know, that might be, but for me, it was pretty fantastic. So,
hell yeah.
And it was unexpected. It wasn't even in a lake I was expecting to, you know, hook up on one that big. But, you know, this year, you know, I don't know how familiar everybody is with Michigan, but I'm going to get some of these baits out in the bigger waters, Lake St. Clair, you know, some of the areas where I should be hooking up in, you know, 6-pounders, hopefully. So
nice. Keith, question.
Yeah.
We have a question. How
Good one.
do they do in the heat? Do we need to worry about them melting and deforming like Z-Man?
God, I hope not.
Gonna say no.
I mean, I'm not familiar, you know, with that experience per se. I would never talk badly about, you know, I think there's a lot of like really amazing baits on the market, you know, in different formulas.
Yeah.
You know, ours, I have not seen any kinds of issues like that whatsoever. So
I'll report back because this Nevada heat will get out to 115, 100, and you know, so
you'll probably remelt my plastics.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see come August time when I'm fishing out at freaking 3 o'clock in the morning because it's 110 out.
Yeah, I'll say. I mean, it doesn't get that hot here, but I mean, I've left baits up in the dash of my boat out in the sun, and I've had no problem.
Nothing,
you know, I mean, you know, it still gets 85, 90 up here with the sun beat down on it. I haven't experienced any problems personally.
Well, Z-Man makes a great product, right? Great product, right? Elazitech, all that great. The issue is you can't put them in the same bag as another saw plastic.
You can't take them out of the plastic.
Yeah, it just has a chemical reaction to it.
That's what I wanted to ask Troy. So, Troy, you can take it out of the packaging because a lot of guys like to do like the Plano boxes of all their favorite worms. Like they can make a whole Plano box of the fused regulators and put all the different colors, and you guys shouldn't have any issues, correct?
I haven't experienced any issues. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
And
I think the majority, like 98% of saw plastics out there on the market are not going to do that. It's just because Z-Man uses that specific style, whatever formula they use, for whatever reason, has that chemical reaction with other plastisols or whatever it is.
Yeah, I do want to note, like, you know, like any bait, I wouldn't recommend mixing the colors. You know, as long as you keep your colors separated.
Yeah,
you know,
some do bleed,
obviously
some bleed.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to
depending
say, Keith, because how many times have I opened up a package next to you and I had about 10 different colors in there? And
oh my God, you make me. I'm like, Dan, what are you doing?
And they've been sitting in my car 150-degree heat. So I was going to say, I'm the perfect person to say they don't. And I'm like, stop, they don't. They've been sitting in my car. It's a dead summer. It's hot as hell. I take them out there warm. They're not blending. So that's been my experience. So far, so good.
Nice.
I also have my question's the same way of leaving it on the hook. I'll come out a tournament day and leave my soft plastic sometimes on there. And I noticed that some companies dry up. I ain't got time to unhook them, man. I'm busy. Frankie got me making shirts.
Yes,
I can tell you right now, these will not dry up.
They will not.
100%.
Ray, these are gonna be killer for our first event. I don't know if you're fishing the first Yak event, but I'm picking some up, and I think it's gonna be a player.
Dude, I already got my shopping cart done. I'm ready.
Nice. Love that. Hey, I wanted
right now your guys' website probably has shopping carts filled with just you know, I'd love to know what the shopping carts look like across the board from everybody watching right now, because it's probably a lot of wives are about to be really mad at you guys.
Dude, it's a lot of fun.
It's hard not to look. Yeah,
it is. Yeah,
Frankie Elvis says that we should do this QVC style. So next time we do something like this, I'll have like on and I'll say, all right, this is gonna be
fantastic.
Hell yeah, we can definitely do that.
That's awesome. That's fantastic.
So hey, real quick, just to wrap up that regulator, Jake, you were talking about before, kind of showing the fish a little something different. That was one of, like, the regulator was one of the first baits we've made. It's one of our very first ones, and that was some of the feedback. So we had like small groups of people out there that we were kind of tossing baits to, like, hey, go try this, you know, share with us, give us some feedback. And that was the biggest thing we got with that regulator because of that, like, elliptical, that oval shape on there.
Yeah,
it was just that the action was just completely different than your typical stick bait that you're seeing. I don't say that in a derogatory way. Just
I get it.
Totally different action.
That's what you have to do anymore. Like I said, the fish are so pressured; they need to see something different.
Yeah,
and if you're a tournament angler, you need that extra bite.
With Cody, right? Like, because like he makes his stuff. You know, I use some of the Yamamoto stuff as well. Like, if you're gonna fish like competitively, you gotta know, like, all right, if I'm fishing like you guys were saying, like 12 feet of water or something like that, and I got to get this thing down real quick or whatever, it's good to know your bait. And this is a pretty cool platform to really express like what your guys' stuff can do, because I can tell you what, there's going to be guys that are like I said, green pumpkin, black flake out here, awesome. But in 3 different brands or 3 different styles, man, that's going to be deadly for a lot of these guys that are tournament fishing, So,
and I think that's one of the points. Like, I think about it. I think we're all kind of like talking around it and whatnot. It's, I would never say like my baits are better, but they're different.
Sure.
And I think that's the big thing that, to me is what's important. Is it's not really producing a better bait per se, it's producing a different bait, because like you guys are saying, some of these waters are so pressured. Like Connecticut is a very small state, right? So when you do have a good amount of fishermen, they're all going to the same spots. I mean, I don't know if anybody's ever been out on like Lillanoa or Zor on a weekend. I mean, it's a nightmare. Like if you're throwing the same thing that everybody else is throwing, like you're not going to do well. So that was like one of the main like driving factors, like when creating these baits is be different. Just make sure we're different. Because the fish need to see something different, and that continuously evolves too, right? Like you can't rest on your haunches and say like, okay, I got something different, I'm good now, right? Like that's part of our plan, is to keep being different, but that's the intention behind these baits is just being different.
Yeah, and I'm sure things are going to change. When you get feedback from, feedback is king. We all know that. You'll probably get feedback from anglers using it, and that might help you. Like new styles might come out from all this stuff, right? So now you have a few different.
You're right on. You're right on.
And then you have a few different versions of the same bait, but different techniques that you know what I mean. So like it's really cool and exciting, because once these start getting in people's hands, all this stuff. Watch, it's going to be like, you're going to be like, holy crap, I never realized we can do that many applications with one bait, right?
You need a lightning bolt Senko.
Lightning bolt Senko. Like,
now that's different.
You take the regulator and put some of the lightning bolts on one end. Like, hey, who knows? We'll have to talk.
Right.
But
that's so awesome.
Right. But let's move on, because the next bait, now Steve was starting to tell me a story about this bait, and I was like, all right, man, I don't want to hear anymore, because this is a really cool story. I think it's awesome to share. Let's get to the Ned bait there. The Ned bait, which is called the Nodge. Is that correct?
The Nodge.
The Nodge.
The
So
Nodge.
let's talk about that. So anybody watching, that's the bait below the lightning bug. It is the Ned style bait. The Nodge. Let's talk about that for a second.
It's all you, Keith. It's all you, brother.
It's all you, Keith.
It's your story. Your story, man. Your story.
I'll try to hold it together for this one. So the Nodge is obviously our take on a Ned bait, right? On a Ned rig. I think everybody can kind of agree, like Neds are all the rage, especially with springtime coming up. I'm sure everybody's getting excited. So the platform itself is somewhat similar to how we built the regulator, right? It does have the smooth on one side. The difference with the Nodge is it's got much deeper rings cut into it than the regulator. It does have kind of more of a forward-facing egg sac on it. You'll see it's a little closer to the head. It has eyes on both sides because, obviously we know when we put it on a jig head, you, the angler, can decide, do I want the ring side going down on the bottom with the smooth side up top, or do I want to spin it? So we said, let's put eyes on both sides, right? Depending on how you want to fish it, right? Now, obviously, this is the smaller bait. This comes in at 2.9 inches. That's our first run of it. And then, from the naming, a lot of people are probably saying like Nodge, where the heck does that come from? So that was actually a nickname given to my dad years ago, whose name was John. And it's just John spelled backwards. Nodge. God rest his soul. My dad started taking me fishing when I was 3. He always said, he's like, 3 years old was when I taught you how to fish. And I have fished since then. He planted that seed in me. He took me constantly. He taught me everything I needed to know. You know, unfortunately, I did lose him at the beginning of the COVID pandemic to COVID. And this is kind of my tribute to him. My dad was a short guy. He was only 5'5", little short Italian.
I get it. I get that. That makes
nice.
He's a little guy.
Well,
so
condolences, brother. Condolences, man.
Thank you very much.
And
we might have to rename that bait after, right? We'll keep Naj, but the little Goomba or something.
Yeah, yeah, right.
That's the secret color that's coming out, the little Goomba color.
Oh yeah, that'd be sweet.
Right?
Red and green.
And this was actually the first year that John has been a huge part of our fishing trips. I mean, since day one. Keith's dad came with us. He was one of our, fishing buddies, one of our partners. Made the trip so much, better with him being there. So this was the first year we didn't have John with us. So we went and we got a trophy. We got a trophy and we named it after John. We got a picture of it. So whoever catches the biggest fish actually gets the trophy.
Awesome.
And John's with us, spiritually and physically in the trophy now too. So we miss him. We had to name this bait after him because we miss him. We love him so much.
Yeah.
Now he's with all of us every time we fish.
Yep.
That's right.
100%.
That's awesome.
Hey, when you're
this,
part of the Slave family, it's all family now, man.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking family, right? And this is kind of like what Steve touched upon, I think, like at the beginning of the call, right? Is the whole thought process around this business is on friends, family, community, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we're all connected in some way, shape, or form, right? I just saw that post from Art, he said he went to high school with my dad.
Crazy as that.
So
I didn't see that. Wow.
Yeah. So
That's
I mean,
awesome.
look at right. It's a small world, and
wow.
so this is great.
Awesome. Yeah.
How
I love
quick
it.
do you ship
Frankie,
these baits out?
could you change the motto for Slave Station to "When you're here, you're family," or is that already taken?
Oh snap!
Oh, wait, that's
I like that.
Olive Garden. Is that Olive Garden?
It's something like that, right?
I don't know. Is it?
Carrabba.
Great breadsticks.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe they'll let us use it.
If we have enough Goombas on here, though, we can use it. So
I know.
we
That's true.
got one for
That's
sure.
true. I love it. There is a tight Italian connection going on here.
Now I like that little bait. It reminds me almost like a sluggo, almost kind of that style. But I wouldn't even mind throwing that weightless, like super finesse weightless underneath docks and stuff.
Yeah.
It's oval shaped too, right?
It's flat, a little bit flat, right?
So this is just a quick story. And Frank, tell me to shut up if I'm talking too much. But
dude, you kidding me? You're good. You're good. Keep talking.
We got 2.5 hours. We're good.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Quick story on the Nodge, right? We showed up to Maine last year, and the first thing we do is we don't even unload like the groceries or anything. We're more like stringing up our rods to get to the dock just to get some baits on the water. And true story, these guys could vouch for it. The first thing I threw on was a Nodge, right? Really the first time that I'm like really throwing this bait out to really try it. And first cast, 3-pound smallie. First cast, not even exaggerating. Dan was there on the dock with me. Steve was on the dock with me. Troy was on the dock. I mean, it's just, and again, I think, we threw a lot of different Ned type baits and whatnot. This is just another instance where, because it's that oval shape and it's just that little bit different.
Yeah.
It's something that the fish haven't seen.
Yeah. It's so unique. And I love unique shit, right? I love unique shit. Mm-hmm. I think, as you can tell what we got with Slay Nation, we like to be different, right? We like to be, we don't ever say we're better than anybody, because one, we're not, but two, I love, how did you, maybe you touched upon it earlier and I was just, daydreaming about throwing the surge over here. How the creation of these baits, right? The creation of these baits. How, like, I just made, right? I dabble with tinkering, right? And I just made, I just poured my own little silicone mold. I made my own little flipping baits right here and there, and I, put stuff on it. But like, just to sit there and like, I have some baits in mind, and I do a design. I'm like, that looks cheesy, How do you come up with like an oval shape? Like, how do you come up with these? Like, do you guys sit down and say, all right, we want something that has like sharp edges on it. Do you sit over a bunch of Trulies and White Claws and Miller Lights? Like but designing is hard, especially in the market you're in. There's every friggin' design possible almost done, right? Like, it's a, how do you come up with this shit? Like, what do you guys do? What is that? Like I'm being dead serious. How did you come up with
drink a lot of Zimas?
You like,
yeah,
you drink a lot of
right?
Zimas?
Speak for yourself.
They still make those?
That's way. Yeah, I'm not that old. Sorry.
But Jacob's like
something
20.
different.
Jacob's 19.
Sorry, man.
Too many bad nights on that stuff. Jeez.
I know, for real. But I'm being dead serious. Like, the fact that this bait and the other bait are oval blows my mind. And it sounds so simple. It sounds so simple, right? But it's not. Like, how do you create this? How do you guys design baits?
Well, I mean, that's really broad, Frank. You're killing me here. But
how do I narrow this down?
How do you design baits? That's
I need you guys to talk. I need you to talk. It's got to be broad.
So I think first and foremost is I've fished a lot of other baits, right? And the first thing is what do you immediately notice on that bait that you would change? Right? That's the first thing that my mind goes to. Like, I'm throwing this bait. This bait is great. Like, there's some brands that are still in my tackle box. I make my own stuff, but I still have them in my tackle box because I love them.
Yeah.
Right. But the first thing is you throw it out there and you're watching it and you're like, this is like really phenomenal. I would do this different. Right. Yeah. And then the next thing you know is the way that I find myself doing it is I put it on paper, right, with that difference. And very quickly you notice other things you would do different. Like, oh, well, if I'm doing that different, why don't I change this a little bit, right? And along the way, there's things that are intentional. And then there's things that we like to call happy little accidents, right? And happy little accidents happen where your intention was not to do that, but it was a byproduct of something else you did. And you're like, oh, okay, well, is this okay? And then the next thing you know, you throw it in the water and you're like, yeah, it's okay.
So I'm going to assume when you're designing baits, like when you get that aha moment, like, oh, damn, like, you probably call the team up and you say, guys, I think we got it. Right. Like,
I mean, Steve probably gets annoyed with the amount of text. Oh. Dude, I got a new idea.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, to get to that end result, like, there are countless iterations. Like, it changes so often, and it's like, and let me tell you, this man has disease. It's like, we got to change this like 1/32 of an inch. I'm like, really? Like 1/32? It's got to be 1/32 on each side, dude. I'm like, dude, it's a 30-second. No, it's not right. Like, I mean, it's like
precise.
Details matter.
I've had this argument with engineers. You won't notice the difference. I will notice the difference. You need to change it. No, I don't think you want to change. I will notice the difference. You need to change it.
Wow. How nice. So Keith, I guess my question to you is, what's your background? You have CAD design, art, or like what do you?
Fishing. That's all he needs.
Fishing.
Yeah, fishing. Right. I mean, that's really it. I think, honestly, Frank, like, I think I approach things, like the way I look at things are just a little different. And I think that's maybe the one thing that saves me through it. I don't consider myself a good artist by any means. I'm a musician.
You're an artist.
I have a long history of musician. Art-wise, I don't really see myself as an artist. But for some reason, when it comes to baits, I can draw exactly what I see in my head.
Gotcha.
It's like the only thing. You could ask me draw a person, it'd be the worst thing you've ever seen. But you could say, like, hey, draw a bait that would do this, and for some reason I could draw it. It's just the thing. Do I have any background in it? Not at all. I am like probably like extreme type A, so like everything's measured perfectly and everything. So I think that helps me in the design process. But outside of that,
yeah, nice. We have a question here from DJ. It says, "How did you or who built your test molds?" I'm assuming you just had your someone CNC for you guys, right? I mean, I'm assuming that's what he's asking.
Yeah, we have two different partners that we work with. I'm not going to share their name only because I don't know if they really want us to in that sense. But we do have two partners with that do all of our machining for us in that sense. So just give you a little bit of background into how all that works. So Keith will design all this stuff, right? It kind of goes from his head, goes to paper, and it's literally like in a pencil, right? It's been erased 18 times, all the dimensions. There's like 70 pages. Then we'll scan all that stuff. We'll send it over to them. They'll then make CAD designs from it. And then from there, it comes back over to us, right? And we have to make adjustments like, listen, you got to tweak this, you got to tweak that. That's not exactly what our vision is. And listen, sometimes when you're drawing stuff, like when Keith's drawing, and he'll share this with you, we're drawing in 2D, right? And then when you see it in 3D from a CAD, totally different. Like, oh, snap, didn't expect that to happen, right? So then it goes back to the drawing board. So there's a lot of iterations just on the drawing. And then we have two partners that do our molds for us, that build them. So they come back to us. They'll make, sometimes it's a single cavity mold. Sometimes it's a 5 cavity mold, or 10 cavities, whatever the case may be, for like a test run, right? So we kind of get a good feel for it, how it looks. And then we have to shoot them. We pour them. So how do they pour? And like the surge, man, that was a tough one with those holes in that bait and going down the back. There's a lot of turbulence, right? Where those diamonds, perfect, man. When those get shot, so clean. But that took, man, I don't even know how many changes that took. A lot to get that stuff. But yeah, and then you got to keep going back to the drawing board. But yeah, I guess long answer there. But but yeah, we have two partners that we work with out in the industry. They're both really great. It's a lot of time, and that was one of the things like we talked about, like, hey, when you guys launch, and you think you're so close with a mold in the design, and then you get back, you fish it, you got to tweak it, and it goes back, and it's like there's a lot of back and forth. Holy cow! I mean,
I have way too many single cavity molds. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, you need to get rid of any. You got 4 guys on here.
Dude, if anybody needs aluminum, dude, we got it by like the metric ton, dude.
I'm not kidding. That stuff's not cheap. I'll take it for free. But whatchamacallit? So your baits, how are they poured? Why don't you like hand injected? You got a machine injection? Like what's that? Like, why don't you tell us, tell the viewers or whoever, how many packs or baits can you actually produce in a day or something? Like if you had to roughly estimate, or a week or whatever.
In a day, probably, I don't know, guys. What do you think I could put together in a day?
I mean, it depends, right? Like if we're pounding out,
let's say an average work day. Let's just say 8 hours.
If you do an 8-hour, we could probably do.
If we do an 8-hour.
Yeah.
Who has 8 hours?
Can we probably do like 20 gallons, Keith, of plastic?
Oh, damn.
Is that fair? In 8 hours?
In 8 hours, yeah.
20 gallons? So how many baits is in a gallon? How many baits can you get out of a gallon?
So like 2,000 baits. I think there's about like 300 or so per gallon.
300 baits per gallon?
Yeah, maybe a little bit more, maybe 350.
Damn, so 6,000 baits, let's say?
It's spread out, right? So,
wow.
And that's going like the regulator. We could probably do about 350 baits per gallon.
Yeah, it's going to depend on the bait.
Yeah, the surge is bigger. The surge is there's more plastic in the surge on that one, so it's it's a little.
So this is not basement pouring. This right. This is a little bit. This is a bigger operation than that.
It's not from it's not microwaved or anything like that. If that's what you're getting to, no, it's not microwaved. Yeah, no.
Well, that's the point I'm trying to make. Is like this is you guys have invested. You're invested in this, and you're pumping. Like, let's be honest, you're able to pump out over 4,000 baits in a day. That's some serious stuff. That's 20,000 baits a week. Like if you were to do it full time, right? That's serious stuff, guys.
And we're hoping to get way beyond that, Frank.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I hope you have to, right? We hope that the demand is there, that you got to supply it.
Yeah. And are you guys the ones pouring, or you guys have people like? Are you guys?
No, we're doing everything.
Yet, or you guys are doing it all? Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So we
have an assembly line. It goes from Keith pouring all day to me bagging all night, and to Steve to shipping.
Nice. It's the way to do it.
But we still have a
Troy's
lot more to
smart for
go.
living farther away. Troy's lucky. He lives too far. He's smart.
R&D.
I visit a couple times a year. I
Dude,
show up a couple times.
Send me
a
the
year
packs.
to
I'll
say
try
hi.
them. I'll try them, guys. I'll try them.
Yeah,
send them.
That's right. I test.
Got some new colors. Just send them away. I just want to see how they work in this.
Just gotta check them out. Yeah, give a little feedback.
Nice. Oh, we had a question by Jordan Slutter. He was asking, would you guys in the future possibly do muskie baits?
Oh, that's where I want to go.
That would be some big.
Yeah,
I mean, it's about this trip.
It's interesting because I'm always when we go to Maine, there's a couple of lanes, like Long Pond that have big pike in there too. So I like throwing. So late at night, I always throw like anything. I do a lot of striper fishing.
Yeah.
So I'll bring my Van Stahl out there with braid line, and I'll throw a 9-inch plug just to see what's out there. And one of the things that Keith and I had been talking about, once the freshwater kind of division kind of takes off, we're going to start to focus on saltwater. I live like literally across the street is the Sound, so I do a lot of fishing there. So the next would be getting more baits in the 9-inch region and stuff like that. And it's actually interesting to mention that even that the leech, and my buddy's been he lives in Florida, and he was catching he's been catching some flounder off the surge. So but I think getting something like in the 9-inch range is definitely something we want to do. And I think those would be perfect for at some point for the muskie fishing.
Absolutely. Let's get into the current, which is your fluke style bait. Because I'm a fluke magnet, right?
Wait until you get bigger to show us that, because I can't see your hand.
Can you see? Sorry. I got it up here.
Yeah, let's I'm gonna highlight Dan.
Oh, there we go.
Because the surge or the current is right up my alley. And the one that I had the original one that I had. Now I don't know. I'm gonna assume it's different plastic, but it's got some weight to it, right? It's a little heavier than a regular Zoom Super Fluke, which I love because on spinning gear, right? And I use braid. I use light braid on my spinning gear, like 10-pound braid with fluorocarbon leader. I was able to cast it a mile weightless, right? Like a mile, which I love because I can cover more water bringing it in. And this thing is sick. Like show the tail, Dan. Show the tail on yours. Like, what does that remind you guys of?
Sorry.
Oh, there he is. Like it's a shark tail, right? It's like a
thrasher.
Yeah,
it's the thrasher. Yep.
Thrasher, whatever.
Like freaking awesome.
Is there texture going down that last section of the tail too?
Yeah.
There sure is.
Yeah.
Added a little bit of ripple to the water there. Displacement.
Yep.
Oh hell yeah! Wait, yeah.
Yeah, you see that down there?
Yeah. I think it's on this one too a little bit. Yeah.
Dan,
lots of detail
too.
Lots of detail.
So this is we can talk. Dan, actually turn it a little more. Turn it a little more.
Right.
So you see how that head is almost like a copperhead, right in the front.
Yeah.
Now the reason for that is when Dan and I we would talk about using some of the other soft style jerk baits and stuff like that. When we twitch them, we like them to nose down after you get the twitch out of them. Like kind of like that dying, it's like floating back, and that head is kind of going back down.
Yeah.
So by doing that, it gives it a little more mass to help that head drop faster. So obviously it's not a massive amount of difference there, but the reason for that head shape is to get it to nose down quicker. You also notice that one of the things that I like for two different reasons is the recess hook slot on the back. Now, for one, I like having like that slot for that hook to fall in. But, I don't know about anybody else, but it is the worst feeling when you run the hook through the center of the bait and it doesn't come out on the center of the top, right? Because you're like, oh, this bait isn't going to fish right off the bat. I know it is, right? So that's kind of my cheater kind of way, because I know if that hook comes out in the hook slot, I am dead center down the back of that bait. So we have that. Couple other things to touch upon, right? That thresher tail. What that does is, that thing just wants to move in the water. I mean, it's just shaking. You can see Dan can't even hold it still. Right. And then, it's got the pattern that runs up like to the body. And then the one other thing that, was a big thing for me is, rigging some of the, some other brands out there. I always hate how much of the hook shows when it goes into the body. So what we did, so we extended the belly a bit to try to absorb that gap of where your hook is below the belly. And that's why you'll see like our belly's got a bit of a different shape than some of the other brands out there.
And it was interesting too, because one of the things we talked about, and I remember having this conversation like it was yesterday, Keith, was the fact that when we're talking about what's different, what can we do different? What are the things that, is kind of frustrating when using maybe other kind of baits. And the thing that definitely jumped out was every time after you cast, you have to then reset your hook and slide it into the top of the plastic again to make it so it's weedless, right? I'm like, we got to do something with that. Even if it's 2 seconds, I got to do that every single time. I don't want to do that anymore. So can we get something where it's just like in a, that it just sits in there in that groove, and you don't have to worry about doing that anymore. And of course, the other thing is a thicker head up top, because, it just rips in so many different places, right? Especially in the head. And so let's make that a little bit more reinforced, so you don't have to, change it out every other cast.
Yeah. Now, Keith, what you were saying with the head, how it, angles down a little bit. I want to relate a lot of guys. If you guys fish hard jerk baits, every jerk bait's different. And AJ, if you're throwing a mega bass, a striking, blah, blah. Certain ones are suspending and floating, but at the same time, when you pause it, certain ones will go head down, certain ones will go head up, certain ones will stay horizontal. So to have that different fluke motion of it falling, game changer.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah, it's a cool bait. Like, really cool bait. Awesome. Let's see here. Now, let's take it down to some finesse game, right? We take it down. You got the Slim down here. All the way, or actually not down here, but right underneath the Fuse logo, we have that Slim, that finesse style bait. It's basically right, it's a really finesse version of the Regulator almost. If you had to describe it, just thinner and a little bit different features. But talk about this. Now, I had one of these right from last summer, and I'll tell you right now, this thing on Wicked Weights, right? They have a weighted wacky rig setup, and I'll tell you right now, wacky rigging generally we're using Senko style baits, right? Thicker bait, longer bait. The Slim, now you have a finesse presentation when wacky rigging or drop shotting or wacky drop shotting, that I'll tell you straight up, I felt so confident with this bait tied on, especially around the edges of anything, docks, you name it. This thing has like a slight quiver. It's super subtle and supple, and I freaking love it. Why don't you talk about that? Oh, there it is. There's Dan. There's our model. Dan's the model.
Yeah, he's crushing it, man. I'm like looking at it.
Here I am.
Did you put nail polish on too?
Dan, did you put nail polish on?
He's actually in a white man.
Dan, it's called clear coat. He's got a clear coat on.
So with this one here, I mean, now you're really speaking my language. This is 100% personally my go-to bait, and obviously, I've designed these other baits. This one, you would say like, oh, it's so simple. Like, why would that be your go-to bait? There is something about this bait that you use the term confident, Frank. Like, I have 100% confidence that I can catch fish anywhere when I put this bait on. And I'm going to even take it a step further. So to touch upon it, right, it is a slimmed down version of the Regulator, right? That's exactly what it is. But there is something about when you get to that dimension that just makes that bait work a specific way. I do drop shot it, but I drop shot it wacky, right?
Yeah.
So when I throw that
on
in
the
the
tip.
water, it is hooked through the egg sac, right? And I mean, you just give that a bounce. Now, side story, this bait, the main reason why I love this bait, I have 5 daughters. All 5 of my girls fish. I can take them to a pond. I do weightless with their little Lady Light ultralight rods, weightless. With that, I don't have to use live bait anymore. They cast this thing out. All I tell them to do is just reel it in and lift the tip of your rod every so often. And they catch fish nonstop. And that is, I think, like why it like sits so close to home, right? So for me, it's a confidence bait. I drop shot it nonstop.
Yeah.
And then the nice thing is too, is like, you know, as a father, I could take my kids out. First of all, I don't have to get my hands dirty with live bait, and I hate live bait to begin with. And, you know, I mean, I have a 3-year-old that casts this thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, it is really like as simple as like, well, what do I do, Daddy? Lift the rod tip and reel in a little. Lift the rod tip, and that's all it takes.
Yeah.
And it's just the movement of the bait.
Yeah. Yeah. Finesse style baits, you know, there's just something about them. Like, you know, I think a lot of people, if you're so used to throwing power fishing, right, and you're chatterbaiting and you're, you know, flipping and pitching and all that. I mean, when you get to light tackle, spinning gear, I know me personally, that's something I'm concentrating on this season, right, with my Sticks rods. And I'm going to be focusing a lot on finesse style fishing because I just think about the look of that bait just looks like something you're going to find right in the water in a natural environment. Like that thing, like you want to eat that. It's simple. It's got great movement. It's right. It's skinny. And then, you know, just something about that bait, man. Whenever I had it on, I was like, oh, I'm catching something. Like, you know, it's just got a great presentation to it. And the fact that kids at the age of 3, right, can pop that on and catch fish with it. That's a no brainer, especially for a parent that, let's just say some parents don't even know about fishing. And you tell them, and you tell them, hey, you know, here, go check out fishfuse.com, rig this bait right through the middle, have your little slayer cast it out there, 3 reels, pop. 3 reels, pop. Let it sit for, you know, 10 seconds. Like it's almost foolproof, right? To use really. You don't have to like twitch it to walk the dog. You don't have to, you know, whatever. You know, it's subtle. Put it this way, the lure does the work for you, right?
100%.
And awesome bait. Another awesome bait. I mean, you understand. Wait, how many designs do you have? How many actual baits again, all in all?
Well, just for now, we only have 6 out.
6 out, but you have
there's more.
Like a couple in colors.
Yeah.
You understand that even just after tonight, people are gonna be like, all right, what's next? Right? Like, what else are you gonna show us? What's the next story behind that? The new bait, right? So like, you know, and this is the cool thing about fishing is we all are like, right? We're tackle junkies. Everybody wants to see what's the latest and newest. We want to get our hands on it. And so you just opened up Pandora's box. So, you know, we want more. Or actually Pandora's tackle box. You know, I think she fished. And so we cannot wait. Like, I can't tell you, we're so excited. Just sitting here. I know AJ, Jacob, and Ray, we're all sitting here like, damn it, I cannot wait to get my order in, and I cannot wait to get in the water, right? Especially
what I like best is that none of your baits are focused. Like most companies come out with a bait, Ned rig bait, drop shot bait, where most of your baits that I've seen, that Ned style bait, I'll throw it on drop shot, I'll throw it weightless, I'll throw it on a Ned. Like all your baits are very not focused on any particular technique, and that's what I like most.
Diverse.
Because a lot of us guys don't want to, you know, when we're in tournaments, timing is everything. And if you got a bait that you can throw 5 different ways, that's key. Anything that saves us a couple seconds, AJ knows, timing's everything. In an 8-hour tournament goes super fast when you're when you're fishing.
Every second counts.
Yeah. And the one thing that I'm like, you know, listening to these guys talk and stuff, man, I'm just like in my head, I'm like, all right, they've already got all this like unique stuff coming out. Like, gonna be like in your guys' direct messages, like, hey, what do you guys think about? I need something like
Yeah.
this because you know, like I'm a huge
We'll be the
swim
new
bait
product
fan. Like I
testers.
love throwing swim bait.
I'm telling
and,
you,
yeah,
feedback is
I love
critical.
Absolutely.
I would
Yeah.
love
All
I
ears.
would love nothing more than that, you know, because
yeah,
you know nobody
this-
has all the answers, you know,
Sure.
and it's critical feedback from people like you, you know, people watching the stream, like you know, that's what we're really excited, you know, one of the other things I didn't touch upon this is like I love going out there and catching fish, right? But I have to be honest with you, when I sit there, you know, when I had these prototypes, I poured them, I designed them, and I had these other guys fishing them. There's a feeling of watching somebody catch something on something you made that is irreplaceable. It is just like magical. Like Steve coming in and being like, dude, whatever you did with this bait is ridiculous. Like that actually starts becoming like more exciting than fishing itself. You're like, well, how else can I get people to catch fish? That's what I want to do. I want that positive feedback. Like you turn into almost like a junkie for positive feedback, right? You're like, tell me something else good about it. You know, it's like,
well, I gotta imagine too, like,
and he likes hearing it.
I gotta imagine like having invested all the time and work that you guys put into it. You know, like, you know, let's just say like a not so good day on the water, you know, throwing baits, like if it's already a tough enough day and then you guys are testing new baits, like that's got to put some pressure on you. And then for like, boom, the line gets hit. It's got to be like, that's got to be so cool, man. And then like, who's to say like a year from now, some dude's not going to like hoist over like a blue trophy over his head and be like, oh yeah, I caught this on a friggin' surge. You know what I mean? Like plastic or something, you know, like that's got to be so, like such a sweet freaking, I'm stoked for you guys.
I'm going to hold one this year.
Oh,
is that you?
I hope so.
I pray.
Right while
Ray's
Ray's gonna be fishing in my kayak series, I'll be like, "Look here, Ray. You know what I caught it on? Come on,
You know,
come at me, Ray."
This is great because in the relationship we have with you guys, because you guys have fishermen all over the country, right? And we keep on telling ourselves, guys, we got to get to Florida, we got to get to Texas, we get to California, right? Because like we always talk about that surge, like, you know, up here, if you catch a 5-pound largemouth up here, that's like a 10-pounder in Florida, right? I mean, you know,
same for me
it's
here.
impossible to get that. That surge down in those states where those fish grow monster. I mean, that I think I cannot wait to someone, you know, starts hoisting up these 5, 10, you know, 8, 10 pounders. It's going to come. It's just, it's some of these baits are designed for those type of, you know, lily pad, you know, fishing, and it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, we're really excited, and I guarantee there's going to be some good results on those baits from our Florida and Texas boys. You know, Florida, I could see them pitching that bait, right, flipping it, heavy cover, and fishing it on top of those heavy mats.
Now, Frankie, they're going to be in some gift packs, right, for every series.
We had, they're going to be, they're going to be,
So they're going to be all over this country catching fish in no time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I got some unique water out here in the desert, so I think it'll be cool to see what all that stuff does and like that real chunky rock and weird spots. You know, like I'm not sure what a lily pad looks like. What is that? What are you guys talking about? Lily pads?
Google it.
A lot of, like,
Google it.
Cacti. And,
those things that frogs are supposed to jump on.
Okay, gotcha.
If you guys follow Dan, like every pick he has, like when he talked about the surge, sending him into like those fish come out with like a pound of grass attached to them. Like it's like he is throwing that thing in such deep cover. It's insane. You know,
he's like, you got to wash the fish off it. You can't put a fish. You drop it on the ground. I'm like, no, I didn't drop it.
Like we literally yell at him, like, would you drag that thing through the forest? Like he's like, no, it came straight out of the water like this. I'm like, what? Like, come on.
Yeah, a little salad. That's all right.
That's awesome.
Like a little salad on the side. I could tell Dan's
I'll
on
tell
a
you
diet.
what it's like when I pull them up from the deep freaking, like I said, ultra clear water that we got out here with freaking chunk rock. So,
dude, that
I'm sorry, Frank. I don't mean to cut you.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, I'm really look forward to any of your feedback, especially how our colors are looking in that deep clear water like that, right?
Sure.
I mean, most of our colors and stuff have been tested in maybe up to 20 foot of clear water, especially like Maine is fairly clear. But I know you get even clearer out there. So I would love and truly appreciate like any feedback when you start using them out there.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. And if you guys wouldn't mind, like I obviously have the Instagram for the company, right? So I don't know if is that what you guys want people to contact you guys on, is just go through the contact there and then like an email, or how do you guys want people to?
You can, great question, AJ. You can DM us anywhere on Instagram or Facebook, Twitter, or just go straight to our website and at fishviews.com. And there's right on the front page, there's a contact us link right on there. You guys can email us directly. Cool. So that comes straight to us. We'll, we're super active. We're social. We want to engage, folks and be able to have a two-way conversation back and forth, and I think Keith said it best earlier, right? Like, we don't have the answers to everything. We feel like what we're putting out is a really good product, and a really, that'll suit a lot of different people, whether you're 3 years old or whether you're, 100, doesn't make a difference. Right. But listen, you're going to go out there, everyone's going to go out there and try things in a different way and kind of have the same vision that Keith had and be like, man, if it did this, or it had this, or this style bait, like you want lightning pinchers on a regulator. I mean, if you want to get crazy, yeah, man, like shoot us over a message. I think that's awesome. And I think we want to grow with you guys, right? It's not just us growing us four. Like we truly, genuinely, we want to grow with everybody. We want to be able to have fans, and we want you to trust us and so forth, and just grow together over the years. We're in this not for like today and tomorrow. Like we're looking to go this, long haul.
This isn't 6 baits and we're out.
Yeah,
this is like 6 baits just to get us started, and
it's just the beginning. Right?
We have a Bible of Keith's got a Bible of drawings. I mean, just to be fair, like, listen, I will tell you this right off the bat, and I'm hoping the guys are not going to kill me. If you see colors or if you don't see colors that you like, that are really important to you, hit us up, share that feedback, because we have colors that we're going to be dropping colors pretty consistently.
Okay.
And I mean, we have a litany of new colors that we're going to be dropping.
Yeah, because I had a question. I had a question for the current, right? A white one, a white pearl, right?
Yeah.
Traditional. I'm sitting there. Listen, I'm ordering today. I'm like, damn it, it's not up yet.
We need some purpose, Frankie.
You did it on purpose.
We want you to come back a second time and make another purpose.
I knew there was a plan. I knew
even my cousin, and I'm pretty sure he's listening, but even my cousin texted me today. He's like, everything looks so great. Hey, you going to have a pearl?
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
See, I like your cousin
White's
already.
key.
Knows it. Awesome. Well, listen, we're going to be approaching the 2-hour mark. I know that's extremely long, and time is precious. Get some rest. You got some baits to pour, money and baits to sell. So, on behalf of everybody here in the Slay family, we are really, truly excited for you all. The company, and just the, it's exciting. It's exciting as it is for y'all. We're so excited to be a part of it with you. Like we really are. And a lot of people are. You got a lot of good support behind you. So whatever you need from us, whatever, you got a new color coming out, or you have a specific, whatever it is, and you need help pushing it. Frankie, we need to get these in the hands of someone in Utah. We hit up AJ, let's do it. We will help get these baits in hands, wherever you need it. You just let us know. And we're really excited. We're so proud of y'all. Can't wait to get out there and slay. And I know a bunch of the guys on here are really good with like social media content. Jacob Stem is like, he's this guy over here. He's on the YouTube and the TikTok and getting his girlfriend in there.
TikTok's where it's at. You can throw hate at TikTok.
See,
that's where the kids are.
Yeah, so
I'm old school, man. I just got a little website going, and I'm blogging, man. I'm just doing this.
That's right.
It's more comfortable. It's more comfortable for me, man. Like,
that's the difference. You got the blogger, and then you got
Listen,
Jacob.
We got all the areas covered. We're good to go.
Yeah,
that's
dude.
right. Yeah, so awesome stuff.
Awesome.
And don't be afraid to hit up Ray if you need anything done after he's done with our Slay jerseys.
Ray's up, please.
I know. But Ray, Jacob, AJ, anything you'd like to add before we give the floor to our Fuse crew?
I was super excited about the baits. Never gotten to see, I saw the AutoCAD versions when we were releasing that, and now to see them today, see them on the website, that slim, you're looking at it on the website and you're like, why is it oddly shaped? And then to see it here, I'm just, again, how fast can we get these? If I order them tonight,
you'll have them by Wednesday, I guess, something like that.
That's so awesome. I'm super excited. I love all the story behind it, and this here made it even more like exciting. So much, like I can't wait, and I'm glad you guys are on board. And now I'm just super pumped about the whole thing.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll say, like, admittedly, like, I think Frank, you might have touched on this a little bit into the beginning, but like soft plastic, right? Like it's a dime a dozen. They're out there. There's 10 billion companies, but like when you actually like hear the stories and you're just like, oh man, like these guys like the lightning bug, that like boom got my attention. I'm like, okay, like and then to see the detail work and like how you guys are going and like, okay, yeah, there's 10 billion of them, but this is why ours are different, and there's actually some cool stories behind them and a lot of thought, man. Like you guys put some, like you said, 2 years, like, oh, we'll be done in 6 months. And then 2 years later, like here you guys are, like, man, like hats off to you guys for putting in the time, and I'm sure it's gonna pay off, man. I'm sure this is gonna do really well. I mean, I'm looking at some of this stuff right now and I'm like, man, these are good, man. Fish are gonna eat these things. So I'm stoked for you guys, man. I'm happy to be here to help you guys unroll it. Frank, thanks for having me on, man. And,
absolutely.
This is cool, man. Community's blowing up, and it's really cool to be a part of it.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
I just want to say thanks for having me on as always. Love talking fishing. Slay Ray, I'm gonna beat you to your mailbox because I know where you live, and I'm gonna take those baits.
I didn't order them yet.
Jacob's got it out for you, Ray. He's got it out for you.
He thinks I'm a threat. I mean, that's flattering, but
hey, if you didn't drop all those fish off that one tournament, you would have won. So
yeah, you're right.
But no, I just really like the baits and all that hard work, and like AJ said, solid plastic companies, dime a dozen, anyone can buy those certain molds and give it credit. They change them up the best they can, but you guys really went out and designed them, have the molds made. There's nothing else like it on the market, and that's what makes you different. Your baits are multi-purpose, multi-technique, which I like. I finally got out yesterday on the water, used my Sticks rods. I picked some up, that set of 6, and those things are sweet. I'm loving them right now, so I'm excited to get some baits in. I'll put an order in and then start throwing them on those Sticks rods, start catching fish.
Hell yeah. All right, well, Fish Crew, our Fuse crew, the floor is yours. Tell everybody where to follow you, website, all the good things.
I'm going right now, so
awesome. All right, so go ahead, take it away. Whoever, if you want to go around the horn, whatever you want to do, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so you can find us in a bunch of different places, right? First and foremost, I think you can find us on our website at Fish Fuse. And there's actually a little story behind that. We could have gotten Fuse Fishing as well, but we wanted you guys to just think about Fish Fuse all the time, right? So fishfuse.com. And you can always contact us there. And then, of course, you can follow us on Instagram at Fuse Fishing, Facebook and Twitter as well. So you can reach out to us at any point in time. I think, guys, I want to say thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts. I mean, this means a lot to us. We talk about you all the time, right? So we sit back to have partners like you. And you always hear things like, no one cares more about what you do than you, right? In this instance, that's not true, right? Like, we truly feel like you have Frankie and Jake and AJ and Slay and the whole team, the whole community, right? Your support that we've seen online and just chatting with you, it means so much to us. You've really helped out, and it doesn't go unnoticed, and it's true. So from the bottom of our hearts, we sincerely appreciate that. And from just a community standpoint, yeah, man, we want people going out there and fishing, right? We want people, listen, I love the Xbox. I think, sometimes I'm a gamer, my kids are gamers, right? But I want them out there too. We want people fishing. We want the younger kids kind of going out there. We want female anglers going out there. Whether you're, brand new, right? I mean, Keith mentioned it, 3 years old, right? My boys are young. They're 7 and 9. dude, it's so easy. Throw on a slim. It doesn't, even if the parents don't know how to fish, they can go throw on a slim and shake the rod a little bit, right? And reel it in. Let the bait do the work, right? And then all the way up to if you're a seasoned angler, right? I mean, if you fish tournaments all day long, so we want it to be multifaceted for everyone. Dude, this has been a lot of fun. I'll let the boys talk. I don't want to suck it up, but this has been so much fun tonight. Fastest 2 hours of my life,
God.
and
goes
this just super cool. We're excited. We have a ton of inventory, so don't be bashful, man. Go on the website and in order. I promise you, if you bust us and you break the boxes and there's no, dude, we pour every day. So you don't have to worry about that. We do that right here, right in Connecticut. It's local. So, I mean, we're constantly pouring, man. It's, 300 degrees constant, just cranking.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
But yeah, I'll give, whoever wants the floor on the guys here, but thanks so much, guys.
Absolutely. I would just say like the one word that keeps on echoing, and I'm going to echo it again, is relationships. It's everything to us. We're very personal people. We're very outgoing. My fantasy day is to be able to, is not working behind a desk. It's being out there with people. It's being at tournaments. It's meeting people. It's greeting people. That's what I love, right? That really, drives me. So, and as well as our job is to make your jobs easier and make your jobs, better, to win more tournaments. So, I want to be out there. I want to, if you guys have tournaments, and, locally, or if we have to go places, I like to be there. Right. We want to be part of it. We want to be part of this, this journey together, and any way we can, don't hesitate to reach out. Feedback, pictures, definitely, no question about it. We just want to hear that, how successful you guys are being. And so I can't thank you guys enough. Frank, A+ all around, and we're going to do everything to, again, to earn everyone's trust, and really, bring it each every day. So just really appreciate the time and effort you guys do every single day. I really do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe we could do this again in like 6 months, and we'll do like a freaking
that would be awesome.
I'll have like a whiteboard, and I'll just tally like all the fish I catch with one of these things. You know what I mean? I'll be like, all right, guys,
let's do it. Yeah. And Dan, April 3rd is Connecticut
Lake
Small Vessel
Winona.
Series season opener. Slay Ray's coming up for that, actually.
Then I want to be there.
So
we'll be there.
I'll give you the details.
Give me the details.
Yeah, I'll give you the details.
100%.
At Lake Winona. So
awesome.
Yeah, so that'd be a good one. Awesome. Keith or Troy, floor is yours.
Yeah, I'll just I'll keep it quick. Again, just is a side note. It was funny because my wife came running in today, and she's like, "Hey, that guy Frank is live streaming you guys right now," and something like that, Frank. Like honestly, from the heart, it really meant a lot.
Mm-hmm.
To see that, to see somebody like taking that kind of initiative, right? Like almost like you're in it with us, and that means so much. So, thank you so much for that. And then, to the rest of you guys too, like giving us a platform like this to have an open conversation. And obviously, like, I'm passionate about my designs. I think I have to be, but giving us that open floor to talk about it, have open conversations of why we did things, like that means a lot to me too. And like you guys sitting and listening and then throwing out new ideas, like it's so appreciated, guys. Like, like truly appreciate you guys having us on tonight. So thank you.
Absolutely, man. And, love everything you're doing, Keith. I hope to meet you soon. All right, Troy, the man of many words, you're up.
Yeah. I'll just say I obviously keep it short too, but first, I honestly, you know what? We're talking about Fuse, bringing people together. I just, I want to thank Keith, Dan, and Steve for allowing me to be a part of this journey with them. Logistically, they're all out in Connecticut within, close range of each other. I'm kind of the odd man out here in Michigan. But I think, I think they saw that I could be a part of this team and help with the success of this, of these baits. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, you know, I mean, I have family, my kids, I love my children and everything, but I have one time of the year, I have 1 week out of the year that I look forward to every year.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, that's driving like 16 or 18 hours to go out to Maine for a week, right?
Yeah, hell
and
yeah.
we take that trip, and as soon as the trip's over, we're planning the next trip.
Yep.
You know, there's not a lot of downtime before we start planning that next trip. So
that's awesome.
The one thing I will say is they need to get to Michigan soon, because I'm getting tired of making that drive. But no, and thank all you guys. Thanks for all the support. It's been amazing to have somebody so excited about what we're doing in promoting that, you know, promoting our excitement in, you know, with your team and getting the word out there. It's been amazing. It's really been, it's been a new experience for me. It's been a unique experience for me, and it's been a really amazing experience for me. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. It's been our pleasure. And, you know, we're going through the same thing. We're new, right? We're new. So we know how important it is to have people supporting you. You know what I mean? It helps keep you motivated, right? It helps push you to even want to do better. And it's all about, you know, we provide tournament opportunities, and you provide people to catch fish, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to catch fish. So it's a great marriage. Well, listen, thanks again for coming on. This was awesome. This will be, you know, on our YouTube and Facebook, right? I shared it, but you can, so if you want to share it with anybody, you just go on our Facebook page or YouTube, and you can share it any way you like with any, anybody else that didn't get to tune in. They can watch the replay. But again, everybody, check out fishfuse.com. Get yourself some baits. Listen, if you're a Slay Nation member, use your code 1 so they know you're a Slay Nation, Slayer, and 2, support a brand new company. Today was the launch at noon. It dropped, and there's only one way to go from here, and that's up.
Yep.
And you know, it's a great thing about being new. You can't go down.
Yeah.
You can only go up. But I love
Slay
it.
Nation is represented already pretty well too. So
That's
we
right,
appreciate
baby.
that.
That's right. And we're going to keep getting harder if people just check their damn emails. And so, listen, stick around, stay on. I'm going to do the outro real quick. Stay on. And then afterwards, I'll cut the live. And I just want to talk to everybody privately. Just say what, thanks and all that. So everybody watching, don't forget, sign up. You want to be a Slayer, SlayNationTournamentFishing.com. Go check it out. You can sign up at any point. A lot of our seasons haven't even started yet, so don't feel like you can't sign up. There's plenty of us. There's a lot, and some series only had one event so far, so you got plenty of time to register. Get a Slay jersey, right? Get your bracelet, get your decal, get your Slay Nation custom jig by Stretch and Lines Angler Gear. Get over 40. The website says over 30. It's actually over 40 discount codes, and you're going to get one of 20% off with Fuse Fishing. You like 50% off Lure Lock? There you go. Get the other ones and check us out. See if you qualify for our national online championship this year. All you got to do is win a Slay Nation event to qualify. You get the new custom poker chips. And don't forget to go check out sticksfishing.com, John Yacht, Wicked Weights, Monster Bass Company, Fuse Fishing, and Stretch and Lines Angler Gear. I think that's it. All right. Peace, love, and slay all day. You fine folks, stay on. And I'm going to take it away here. Peace, y'all.
Thanks, guys.